Hi everyone and welcome to topic 2A part 8. In this session we're going to look at other models of transformational leadership. So other forms of transformational leadership: neutralizers and substitutes, which as you know we've already looked at. Empowerment is another model that we will be looking at later on in topic 3, but empowerment is when you drive decisions downwards. You're enabling people who are doing the jobs to make the right decisions about them. But to do that you've got to do several things. You've got to open the books. You've got to provide the knowledge and skills so people can make the right decisions. So you've got to train them well. You have to devolve decision making down within the organisation. You've got to understand the meaning of and impact of jobs, and you've got to reward based on company performance, not individual performance. So empowerment is actually a key component, as you will be able to see, of shared leadership. Leaders as askers of questions is another style of leadership whereby the leader doesn't provide answers, they just ask the right questions. Dialogue versus discussion, and as I mentioned a little bit earlier in one of these sessions about dialogue being very, very important for leadership, we will look also at dialogue in topic 3, where dialogue is far more of a to and fro iterative process between leaders and followers, a much more shared model, as opposed to discussion, which could be somebody saying one thing and someone saying another and just stating each other's positions. Then there's self-leadership, which we talked about briefly in topic 1, and teams. So you can actually get around. Another way of leading can be actually with leading in teams, and SEMCO does that quite well, and we'll have a look at SEMCO a bit later. There's one thing that we haven't looked at with transformational leadership thus far, and that is how you evaluate when leadership is effective. We often don't do that, and one reason why is we don't actually have good performance measures in place or good key performance indicators set up before a leader starts in a role, and we need to ensure that happens. We need to also look for openness and free dialogue, so there is actually good conversation happening, and everybody is allowed to have input. Nothing is secret. We should be looking for behaviour that seeks out the hard questions, that doesn't avoid it. If we go back to that Blake and Mouton grid from 1B, remember that country club style of management is not what we need. The avoidance is not what we need. What we need is collaboration. We should be welcoming of diversity. That should be a sign of good leadership, that there is a diverse mix of people within the organisation, and we'll look much more at diversity in topic 3. We should check that leadership performance meets targets regularly. It shouldn't be done once a year. It should be something that's done often, and what's more, the leader should actually embrace that and lead the way with that. You should be monitoring how satisfied staff are, and you can do that when we get to look at followership shortly. You can do that by monitoring your pragmatic survivors, because they're your canaries in the mine shaft. When they disengage, you know they're the early warning detection system that something's not going well. You need to ensure that leaders match the rhetoric, that they walk the talk within the organisation. You also should be asking key stakeholders, suppliers and employees how things are going. So have a think about what else we haven't got on the list here. What else you think should be on the list, and feed that back into the system.